3 a.m. Pillow Talk. We have Crystal Kataw. I almost butchered it. See, I told
You
you.
got it.
I am tired, so she's actually going to run the podcast.
Yeah.
That's caffeine in me, so it's all on
Uh,
you.
I'm like, well, that's a wrap, folks. Just kidding.
that's actually what the app says when I hit it. When I end it, it says that's a wrap. So
Nice.
okay. So who are you?
Um, I'm Crystal.
Nice to meet you, Crystal.
Nice to meet you.
So you have been, let's just dig in first to the sobriety.
Sure.
So you have been sober for how long?
In March, on March 22nd, it will be 3 years.
What was the catalyst to getting sober?
Hmm. Honestly, just being just sick of the shit, I just honestly, I don't even, so I say my sobriety date is March 22nd, but to be honest, I don't know exactly what day in March it is because I just woke up one day and I was like, I'm so sick of this shit and
Okay.
I'm not doing it anymore. And then I just literally never did. And um, I don't know what day that was.
And
So
22nd works as good as any.
yeah,
Yeah, it's actually the 22nd. I think February 22nd is when I got hit by a car, and it
that's,
started the process of losing my leg. March 22nd. No,
yeah, it's,
February 22nd. Yeah, March.
Well, it turns out I didn't know this, but it turns out that my aunt, whom I'm very, very close with, who has been a big pillar of support during, these last 3 years, her daughter, my cousin, died in a plane crash when she was 16,
Yeah.
and it was on March 22nd. And I didn't know that when I had kind of just like decided that that was my day.
Okay.
Like it was an old roommate that was like, let's do March 22nd. So it ended up being her death anniversary. So,
Okay,
you
that's
know,
interesting. I know I went
yeah,
through a period. I uh I went through a period of not heavy non-sobriety. I mean 24/7. I was doing coke,
non-sobriety.
I was doing
Yeah.
coke, I was taking Xanax to sleep, to wake up to do coke again, and then
Mm,
drinking. And so I did that for probably 2 or 3 years after I lost my leg. And I
yeah.
realized I tried to half-ass my sobriety. So I'm like, I'll just do coke once a month. You know,
Right.
so I started doing that, and I realized that the catalyst for me was that I was wrecking everything in my life.
Right.
I was wrecking the people that came into my life. I was dragging them down with me. I
Hmm.
so that was kind of the catalyst for me for getting sober. So how did you get sober?
Um, I just quit one day and then oh gosh, I've been asked this question so many times and I wish I could come up with a straightforward answer, but number one, first and foremost, it's God
Yeah.
and
Okay.
replacing, um, just replacing that void,
Yeah.
with something else. Like mine's become exercise. I'm always on the move.
Okay.
Um, but to say how I got sober, it's still like a question that I don't have an answer yet to. So many people ask me that, and I really can't put my finger on how I got sober.
Decided you just woke up one day and decided not to.
Yeah, that I just had had enough, and I started finding things that were worth living for and worth not losing. Like I wouldn't trade the life that I have now, you know.
Yeah.
It,
What kind of life led to getting so heavy into non-sobriety?
you know, well, I don't know. I mean, I grew up with a narcissistic, abusive dad.
Okay.
Um, I oh man. I I went through a break. It really all started like at the age of 18. I went through like a devastating breakup with my first boyfriend and I just couldn't handle um I couldn't handle. I was devastated. I couldn't handle. I couldn't cope. So I started, drinking a whole bunch, and I just became like a complete drunk.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then um, it. I can't say if it's like one particular thing. It's got to be like a mental illness or just the disease in general because you know um that's a good question. I don't really know. There's a lot of things. Like my
Mhm.
parents got divorced when I was younger.
So there
Um,
wasn't any. So how long? Um. So from 18 on, you were pretty much just drunk. You were drinking.
No, I only drank from the age of like 18 or 19 to like 23.
Okay. And
And
what
then and
happened?
that
What happened then?
I actually got pregnant and then I got
Okay.
sober.
Okay. Okay.
But when I was pregnant with my son, I didn't do, so my son, let me back up and get a little off track. My son has a congenital heart defect. A
Okay.
lot of people might think that that was caused by any type of like drug use or alcoholism. On my part, I was totally and completely sober when I was pregnant with both of my kids.
Okay.
So I say that to say when I was pregnant with my son, I got a toothache and the doctor prescribed me Vicodin, which I took only when I was in pain.
Yeah.
If it was like a short prescription and I did it exactly how the doctor prescribed, but it was the first time ever when I took that out, it was like bing, in my mind, and it just my life was never the same
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
I just had to have that, and I was addicted to opiates for 10 years.
From that. From that. Okay. What kind of? So. Okay. Let me think about how to word this. So at 18, you started drinking really heavily after a breakup.
Mhm.
Was it what? And was it the Vicodin that started the opiate addiction,
Mhm.
or was
Yeah.
it? So why do you think you've always been kind of susceptible to that, though? So can we take? So we're looking at a couple of small events, right?
Mhm.
And I've always run from things. I've used different things in my life to run from things. I got my leg cut off and I was doing pull-ups in a doorway. 4 days later,
Yeah.
and I was running from something. And so if we take these two small events and let's kind of broaden them out a little bit, why do you think you've always been susceptible to that? I'm going
You
to ask
know,
a lot of these kind of questions.
And they're good questions. I'm trying to figure out an answer. I don't know. I think maybe a lot of it could have been a void that I'm trying to fill that maybe was presented by my dad. My dad was really mean growing up. He still is. He's not supportive. He's not in my life whatsoever. People throw the word narcissist around like it, really loosely, but there are instances in which people actually are,
Yeah.
and he was just very mean, kept me cut off from my family, just physically abusive. um
How is that? How has that, if I may interrupt, affected your romantic relationships?
oh
That
my
trauma
gosh,
from your childhood. How has that affected them?
the guys that I have picked in my past, oh my goodness, just horrible. They're exactly like him and just
Okay.
horrible, physically abusive, mean, just cruel people.
And okay, so do you think so? So your brain, I'm going to throw a little neuroscience in that I learned the other day. At 25, your brain is fully developed.
Right.
So your picker, who you're actually attracted to after 25, that's it. Like you can't, we have neuroplasticity where sometimes we can, our neuro pathways can change, but for the most part, after 25, your picker is just your picker,
Right.
right? So what do you think it was in those men that drew you to them to begin with?
Well, I don't know because the man that I actually married, the only reason why I ended up with him
Yeah.
was because I felt stuck. I never liked him, so I can't really say that I was attracted to him. And now that I'm like, especially now that I'm sober, I'm like I say this with love and respect. I'm so disgusted by him.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily other I hate other than my to be quite honest, Other than the first boyfriend I ever had, I've honestly never really truly been attracted to anybody that I've been with. It's just been kind of like settling, whatever, you
You
know.
think that's more of a you thing, feeling wanted?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could that be a self-esteem thing?
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay. I've been through that. I understand that completely.
Yeah.
So how do you think have you done any work on that? Have you done
No.
any work on the way you look at yourself and the way you because it all starts inside, right?
Right.
So you
I don't know.
haven't
I think maybe life has done that recently, but I have never like actively done any work in that area. So the answer would be no.
okay, okay. I know about men. I don't know how, I have no idea how women can build themselves up and build up their confidence. I know how men can do it. I've had to do it. But I have no clue how women can do that.
Right.
So
Well, when you find out, let me know because I don't either.
you will be the first to know. So how has dating been? Have you been
Oh,
dating? Have you been
it has been, I just don't even bother, like whenever there's anything at all that makes me feel any type, even if it's like a good feeling, but if anything bothers me in the slightest, like anything, like it's a wrap for me. I'm like, never mind, I wish you well.
could that be
I don't ever,
what kind of
what's that?
bother? What kind of bother? Like
Like,
that it is it
like if I have to,
like the guy picks his nose or is it like is it like he walks a certain way or is it maybe a nervous system thing? Maybe he talks a
so
certain way, maybe
So
he
I do get the ick very easily. I've gone on several dates and gotten the ick, and I've just ended things after the first date. But anybody that I've been even remotely interested in, where I've gone on a second date, because like a lot of the dates I've gone on, like I said, they've ended after the first date. I'm like, no.
okay.
But people that I'm interested in, when I say bother, like if I have to wonder about anything, like if a text message is taking, like a reply is taking too long, and I have to start thinking and wondering and getting all in my head, I'm like, never mind, I'm not doing this,
Okay.
and I cut it off.
Okay. So that is actually yeah. All right. So let me think on that for a minute. I'm gonna think on that and we're gonna circle back after we talk about your career bartending.
All right, sounds good.
So we're gonna go all the way back to the beginning. I don't want to circle back to that other thing after I put some thought process into that. So
Okay.
how how is bartending going? How did you decide to bartend? Did you how long have you been bartending?
Um, Going on about 2 years now.
So a year into your sobriety.
Hmm. Yeah,
What
about, yeah, yeah.
did you worry at all that
No, never.
never?
Nope, never.
Okay, so see some people I don't believe sobriety is a or I don't believe addiction is a disease necessarily. I think it's a mental health thing, right? I think we have
Yeah,
certain ways we cope. I think we see that with kids in video games. I think
right,
we see it with men in porn. I think we see it with women in social media. So I think
right,
there's certain ways we learn to cope to not have to deal with certain emotions. And until we force ourselves to have to deal with those emotions, we don't learn to be able to deal with those emotions
right.
in a healthy way. So so yeah, bartending. That's I've never met a sober bartender. I've never met somebody who had who woke up one day and was like, "Fuck that! I can't drink anymore." And then bartenders. That's interesting. A lot of people say a lot of people wrap their whole lives up in their whole identity is being sober.
Yeah.
And I've never understood that because that doesn't seem like a fun life, right?
Yeah. Mm-mm. I'm
Like,
not about that life at all.
yeah, so you got, and if it helps people get sober, it helps people get sober. Um, but I've never seen, I've never really, I've never. understood that. But I mean, like I said, I'm no expert, and if it helps people, it helps people. So if you get so how long are these text messages taking? See, we circled right back. I smoothed
Uh,
right back into that. So is it?
um,
Yeah,
like
I want to
for
know more.
example, and if I post this on my Facebook, this person will see this, which is fine because we're friends.
Yeah.
But so for example,
Will be posted if you don't mind, and I will be tagging you in it if you don't mind.
yeah, no, that's fine. I knew all that was coming. But so for example, we had gone on one date, and messages were taking a couple of days to, like, build up to date number two, which is fine, whatever. I don't care. But then, like, for example, I had sent a text message in the morning, and I didn't get, and we'd already gone on date number two,
Okay.
and I had sent a text message about coming to his place of work and purchasing a bottle of wine for my brother.
Okay.
And I had already, in my head, been like, this guy's too busy for me. He owns a business, just he has little kids, and
Yeah.
just doesn't have, I don't feel like has enough time, so here goes like 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours maybe, and no response. And I just, like, politely was like, hey, you know what, never mind. Like I said before, you're a little too busy for me, but I wish you all the best. And the response I get was, well, I've only been up for 2 hours. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to work for me, because you've been up for 2 hours and you haven't checked your phone, number one. It's just,
Okay.
it
Okay.
shows disinterest to me, and that's it. It's a wrap.
Yeah. There's a paradox that I was thinking about earlier. Okay. And as humans, sometimes if we think something is too easy to get, we take its value away, right?
Right.
So, and then, but if we, so there's this line I used to say that you're not really in love with that girl; she's just pretty and hard to get.
Right.
So, a lot of times we take the value away from people who are actually interested in us because we're hardwired in some way to think that that doesn't have the value, right?
Right.
Which sucks because like I can be a clingy person, right? So I'll tell you straight up. If I'm in a relationship, I'm clingy. Like
Right.
I can be decently clingy, and I've run into that before dating. To where so there's a paradox. Okay, let me get back to the paradox. So people always say the people I like don't like me, and the people that like me
Right.
I don't like. I
Right.
think that is based solely on the people that we like, we try too hard,
Right.
right? And then we tend to devalue ourselves, which it shouldn't be that way. But if we know the way the human brain works, and we know that value is based on scarcity,
Mm-hmm.
so like diamonds are more valuable than silver because they're more
Right.
scarce. So
Mm-hmm.
if we know that, I think that whole paradox is like if I really like a girl now and I'm in a relationship as of right now, um, when I was dating and I really liked the girl, I figured out the best way to get her to like me was to be aloof,
Right.
was to just kind of like, yeah, but it's, so, so yeah, so you guys, so the dates went well though.
Yeah. Let me comment on you saying
Oh, yeah,
that
go ahead.
aloof thing, because I totally agree with you that people are like that. And that's another reason why, like, I'll cut it off, is because there's three reasons why people are taking too long to
Okay.
respond, in my opinion. And number one, that's you're too genuinely too busy.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Number two, you're just not that interested.
Yeah.
no thank you. Or number three, you're playing a game, you're being aloof. And
There
I'm
you
not
go.
interested in that shit either. I can't stand that. Like, if I'm gonna date a guy and you are like super into me, show it. I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
See, and not everybody's like that.
right.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm
So
trying to change the narrative.
yeah, yeah. I've been trying to change the narrative with the podcast for the last year on the way men
Right,
and women relate to each other.
right.
So yeah, it's kind of the luck of the draw. I know from a
Mhm.
male perspective, right? That it's kind of a luck of the draw. That if I was dating and I really liked a girl, that I would come across. I know every time I came across like I was desperate, and she was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" You know what I mean? Like he's just
She's like, it's a
desperate.
no for me.
Yeah, like that was the biggest no from her. And I've
Yeah,
also known before from women that if they were texting me too much or being too clingy, I was like, yeah, yeah, that's a no for me.
yeah,
So I have been my own worst enemy. I've been on both sides of that. But I,
right,
but I think if it's the right person, clingy is good. We're meant
right.
for that.
Totally. Yes.
We're meant for that. We're meant to attach to each other. We're meant to
Yeah.
pair up and tackle life together. So that's interesting. So how have you thought about tackling that? Be, okay, have
Honestly,
you,
my
yeah, because
my mentality about it is when the right one comes along, it's just gonna flow. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm totally fine with waiting until that happens, and I'm not gonna do dating apps. I will meet someone organically. So my
I like the
mentality is like,
organic thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and you can't push away what's meant for you, and I firmly believe that. So when the person that I'm supposed to be with comes along, it's just gonna, it's just gonna work. You know what I mean?
I got you. Okay, so when was the last long-term relationship you were in?
Oh my gosh. Uh, maybe my ex-husband. I mean, what do you consider long term?
Let's say 6 months or longer.
And
I think 5 to
situationships
6
don't
months
count,
are,
right?
huh? Say again?
Situationships don't count, right?
Well, was it a situationship on your part or his part?
Um, kind of both. Yeah. Like
Okay,
it was
so
just
you two just weren't sure.
it just, I don't know how to explain it, but it was a situationship that went on for a long time. It was like 2.5 years.
And were you
So
wanting more?
Um, yeah, and then towards the end it seemed like he did, but I was already to a point where I wanted more for too long and you didn't take it while it was available to you, so it's like now you kind of just like screwed it up. So he would always try to get together and make plans and come up here and it was just like dead in the water. You know what I mean? Like he didn't
So you were already over it.
I was just like I'm not putting up with any more shit. Like none whatsoever.
I can tell you if a guy really likes you, you won't find yourself in a situation.
Right.
Like if
Right.
a guy really
Precisely.
likes you, okay, so there's a statistic, okay, and I don't know the exact statistic, but this is the rough area of it, in that 4 out of 5 men believe in love at first sight,
Hmm.
but only 2 out of 5 women believe in love at first sight.
Right. And I can totally believe that. Like that
Yeah.
makes sense because it takes me a second to fall for somebody,
Yep.
but I want someone that knows about me like right now.
Yeah.
Like you
And
already
so,
got your mind made up. I still got to figure it out, but you need to know. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So,
So men are more, a man can tell. A man knows within 3 months. I think if a man has not committed, within 6 weeks committed, right? Less than that.
yeah.
I know that if I was really into a woman when I was dating, I would, it'd always be on my mind. I'd be like, yeah, I want to commit to it. I want to commit to this woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Yes, I do.
I think there are certain rough guidelines you have to follow. Like if the guy has not, if you guys have been dating back and forth and the commitment thing hasn't come up at all within 6 weeks, fucking drop him,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yeah.
If after 6 months, if you guys aren't attached at the fucking hip, right? In
Mhm.
some way, with still having some interdependence.
Right.
Like so, I think there's just I think there's rough guidelines you have to follow because guys, we're dumb. Like if we like a woman, I will tell you right now, we are putty. We have to work
Right.
to not be putty. You know,
Right.
like we have to work to not make that woman not even be attracted to us anymore because we're
Right.
so fucking putty. I
Right.
know, yeah. So on that front, so congratulations being sober.
Thank you.
And how long ago was your last long-term relationship? I don't think we got an exact time. We just got the situationship. So how long ago was your ex-husband?
My ex-husband and I broke up back in like 2021, 2020. Our divorce was final in 2021.
Okay,
But I did date somebody for like 8 months. Um, uh, like right before I got sober. Like breaking up with him was kind of like that was kind of like that was like a push to the end all of my using because I feel like it was a big contributor to us, breaking up. And I really liked this guy. To this day I still do. I'm like, man, that was kind of dumb,
like
but
you fucked it up a little bit.
oh yeah. Yeah, because my mind was just like a mess, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, have you thought about how to work on that text message thing? Because maybe if a couple hours goes by, I think that's a lot of anxiety, and we all have. So there are attachment theories.
Hmm.
Have you heard of those?
I feel like I have, but I couldn't name them if somebody asked me
So
to.
you've got anxious,
Hmm.
you've got avoidant, and then you've got anxious avoidant, which would be disorganized. I guess there's four of them. Then you have a secure one. So I tend to be more of a secure, but I can lean on anxious really fucking quick in the right
Right.
circumstances. Um, and I think a lot of that's anxiety and maybe still that lack maybe of self-worth, right? Do you date one guy at a time? Do you
Um, yeah, I mean, like if I haven't gotten like serious enough with anybody to only you know, date them. I mean, the most I've gone on dates with people is like 1 or 2 dates. So, but yes, I will um until it's exclusive. I won't sleep with more than one guy at the same time,
as very,
but
very fucking respectful? Yeah,
what's that?
that's respectful.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, thank you. I think so too, but I think that's just like on a whole nother level, like messed up to do that, but I
I think
will
I think it's a little
date
more.
around.
Yeah, I think sex is a little more intimate. And I think as society has gotten further and further on, I think that we have cheapened certain parts of relationships that we need to bring back and add more value to.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyways, yeah. All right. So where were we? 'Cause I got lost for a minute.
Um, I don't know where. Shoot. Yeah, you were asking me if I will date more than one guy at a time,
Yeah.
and
Okay. Okay. So
yeah.
um, do you? How were your relationships abusive? Um, were they? How have they been, the internal workings of them, when you were in there? Because I've really dug into the domestic violence thing lately. So
Mm.
I've really been interested in figuring out abuse, control versus boundaries, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So how have they been?
Well, my ex-husband was incredibly physically abusive from um not from the very beginning because we lived in different states, but once it got to kind of like a point of no return, I was already pregnant with his daughter. I had moved from Arizona back to Colorado to be with him. That's when he started, being physically abusive, and he was out of his mind,
Yeah.
out of his mind, crazy with that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, looking back, I can't believe I ever put up with.
How long did you stay?
We were together for 7 years in total.
Okay. And how long was
Yeah.
that was he physically abusive?
For most of it, like we were together. When was the first time he was physically? Our daughter was 2 months old. The first time that he ever was physically abusive, and that was probably for 6 of the 7 years he was. I
Okay.
would say, yeah.
What do you think led you? Do you think that comes back to self-worth?
Oh, what,
Staying,
allowing him to be
yeah,
that way?
staying in that
Oh
position.
yeah. Yeah, my mentality. The only reason why I stayed with him because I honestly never liked him. Even we went to the same high school together, and I didn't even like him in high school. I thought he was just a mean person, and um, but I just like, well, I started talking to him because I had a 9-month-old son, and I just was kind of lonely,
Yeah.
and then but then once I got pregnant with his daughter, I'm like, okay, nobody's gonna want me with two kids and two different dads, and I'm stuck in this now.
Yeah, I
So
understand. Okay. I understand. Yeah, I understand that. We got to, so yeah, because a lot, I used to be, I know when I lost my leg, a lot of that, I think men being abusive, because I have been emotionally abusive.
mhm,
I have been incredibly emotionally abusive, like in a couple of my relationships. And I don't mind saying that because I had to sit with myself and figure out like what's going on there, why is that
right,
happening? Why am I being this way? And I know from my viewpoint, from my standpoint, it was extreme lack of self-esteem on my part.
right,
I lost my leg. I went on a two-legged hating spree. Like I hated everyone who had two legs. So I went through that phase. I went
right,
through, and then I didn't know who I was as a man anymore. I went through this phase where I didn't know how to express myself and express my emotions properly because men aren't taught that.
right,
And so my emotions came out abusively, and
hmm,
they came out in very unhealthy ways.
right,
So I think a lot of men, I think we could get rid of domestic violence completely. It's a blanket term, first of all. You can get domestic violence for responding to a text message
right,
with on a no contact order, but I think the actual abuse, I think a lot of that stuff we could get rid of that completely if we start teaching men how to express their emotions
hmm.
a healthy way. How old is your son?
He's 15.
15. How's he doing? How's that? How does his heart affect him? How does
Um, I mean, he loves football. He can't play football, but
okay.
but I think it affects him in that sense. But as far as, just him as a person, he's a really, really good kid, good heart, very kind,
Yeah.
you know. So,
So
yeah.
does he have any positive male role models?
He actually, I mean, I've got some friends, around here, and yeah, I mean, he does not any that are in his life as much as I would like. They're not like here on a regular basis,
Yeah.
but I do have friends and such around town that will spend time with him or mentor him, and
Good, good.
but
That's a good
not a
thing.
constant though.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I think it's been stigmatized to an extent because if you find a grown man wanting to befriend a teenage boy and mentor
Right,
him, then people get kind of weird about like there's kind of a stigma around that. Like, oh,
right,
what's wrong with that grown man? But I think we need more of that, and I think that's how
yeah,
because I think young men especially need either a bad example. I think they need a bad example and a good example of how to
right,
treat women.
Mhm.
So without the good example, the bad example is the only example they have.
Right.
But if they have a bad example and a good example, then they understand the difference and they see the
Mhm.
contrast, right? And I
Right.
think they're able to color inside the lines a little bit better when it comes to treating women better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because not knowing what not to do is just as valuable as knowing what to do, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes. And when you mix those together and you say, oh, there's this huge difference between knowing what to do and knowing what not to do. And even the way society is going right now, like I think they tried to get rid of chivalry to an extent, like the a
Mhm.
certain wave of feminism tried to get rid of chivalry, but I think there's actually I think young men need to be taught to open doors for their
Yeah.
mom, for
Mhm.
women, walk on the street
Yeah.
side, because I think there's a straight line between open the door for her and don't punch her in the face. Like I
Right.
think that downstream from open the door for her, treat her like this, she should be protected at all times.
Mhm.
Straight downstream from that, I think we can get rid of a lot of other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he is 15, you are a single mom.
Mhm.
Your daughter is old now.
No, she's 13.
13. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I was completely off track.
Yeah, she's 13.
Okay. And you bartend, you stay sober,
Mhm.
and you are actively dating, so people on Facebook will see this. Okay. I'm
Uh,
sorry if you get people in your inbox.
you're what?
I'm sorry if you get too many guys in your inbox.
Oh, that's quite all right.
Um, Congratulations on being sober. Congratulations and a
Thank you.
huge amount of kudos on just deciding to be sober and living life at the same time.
Yeah. Thank you. I will
Yeah,
take that.
that's a really big, it's really, really, really hard to get sober sometimes, especially, a lot of people need programs and that's good. Community and stuff like that helps, but it could be very hard to get sober. So big
Yeah.
congratulations on that. I promised I would
Thank
wrap
you.
this podcast up at 40 minutes. We're at 37 minutes. So I really appreciate you being on 3 a.m. Pillow Talk today and
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great talking to you.
taking a little bit of your time. It will take me a couple minutes. It's going to take about an hour before I get everything posted, but I will tag you in it and put on your page. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
All right. You have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too, Kevin. Nice talking to you.